Yeah,
I'm Bobby Reed. I'm the head of emerging technologies for OU Libraries.
awesome. And then just some questions for you here. Are you aware of any recent developments in official policy changes for OU addressing ChatGPT? If so, what has that looked like?
I'm not aware of official policy changes. I taught a section or a grad section this semester, and all of my students were Comp 1 teachers, so they're all TAs for the English department. And I can tell you that they have had to do a lot of on the fly trying to figure out what to do, particularly with students submitting papers that were mainly made of generated or wholly made of generative content. Um, and it's been a challenge. I know the Academic Integrity Board has had a lot of difficulties figuring out how to proceed with academic integrity claims that point to AI use. So I think for the most part, I haven't seen anything official, but I do know that there is a lot of confusion in the air right now.
Awesome. What would you like to see from the university addressing it, or how do you think the university should go about um, policy changes or official statements?
That's a hard question, but a good one. I think with any new technology, we're always going to have a lot of risks and a lot of potential rewards when it comes to the use and applying the use to domains that already exist. This one's different. It's different than the technology changes we've seen in the past. It's very hard to detect its use, I would say, is what makes it so pernicious. Um, the university is going to have to protect itself legally, especially with how hard it is to prove if someone has used AI. And when I speak about that, I mean if a teacher tried to turn someone in, for using AI on an assignment when they shouldn't have. That's kind of the punitive angle of looking at it. I don't. What would I hope for the university to do? I would hope that the university continues to invest in human beings that can counsel faculty and students alike to learn how to use these things in a way that doesn't destroy their education and preserves the integrity of their scholarship.
Awesome.
Um, but there's a little bit more to it than that. I hope that the university does not only focus on the possible harms, but also keeps an eye on the potential augmentation of humans that large language models can do. They can provide some aid to tasks to free up our time so we can focus on tasks that do require a human. And I do think there will probably be a variety of avenues that we can go that way, and that will probably become normal use given a couple decades. And I hope we're not too fearful to experiment.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Um, what are some of your main concerns surrounding ChatGPT at OU, versus what do you think some positives might be, and what are things you look forward to?
Absolutely, yeah. So my biggest concern is I remember being a student. I'm getting further removed from that every year, but like I remember the pressures. A lot of times you just need a solution. You're overwhelmed, you're overworked. And I fear that having the option to reach out and have generative AI produce a 3D model for you, produce a piece of text for you, produce an image for you, will cause students to miss out on some learning that they could have had. I'm not one that thinks they need to, go through some hardship, but like I do think that there is some learning that could be missed out on from these. So that's my biggest worry when it comes to OU. When it comes to the planet, I'm just really worried about fake content kind of dominating the internet and it becoming really, really hard to find real anything and find out the truth about things because you're just so overwhelmed with generated content. Uh, my hopes would be that we stay open to the possibility of human AI pairs and the power that a human can have to enact change when they work alongside an AI and they bring what a human can do, the creativity, the structure of imagination to a problem. I'm very excited to see how that might shape up.
Awesome. Um, Thank you for that. Uh, I'm sorry if it seems like I have short responses
Oh, that's
to your
what.
answers. But and I guess finally, how has ChatGPT affected your occupation personally?
Um, this is going to sound kind of snarky, and I don't mean it to be. I've been invited to give a weird number of talks lately, and nobody knows what they want me to talk about. Like, they're just like, "Can you talk about AI stuff?" And I always say no because I'm not going to. I don't know. I don't know what they actually want me to talk about. So it's a hot button topic, and so it's gotten some more attention to our realm. Um, uh, that's kind of a joke answer more than anything else. I guess the real answer, it hasn't changed a lot yet, um, but it's clear that it's going to. The things I think it's most going to change related to the work my team does is I think a lot of people are going to use large language models. Even experienced developers, I think, are going to be using large language models to produce a lot of their code, um, because there's some stuff you just don't want to write all the way, and you've wrote it like 50 times, and you can just ask Copilot or Chat GPT to make it for you real quick. And it's not necessarily plagiarism. It would be like if you wrote the same paragraph over and over and you just ask it to write it one time. So I see that being probably the biggest change. A lot of elementary coding work probably won't be done by humans, although advanced will still definitely need to be done by a human.
Right. Well, that was great. I guess finally, do you have any final thoughts about the direction of this technology?
It's neat. It's terrifying. It's a lot of interesting things. Zach, what I try to do is, I'm not a deep expert in kind of some of the neural nets you have to build AI. Uh, but what I try to do to stay on top of it is I pay attention to those people who are paid the massive amounts of money on the planet, these high earners in these realms, and I pay attention to kind of their thoughts and feelings, because they're in those conversations. They're very deep within it, and I think there's a lot to be said for the hope that they feel, but also some of the fear. They really hope these things get rolled out correctly. Um, Human beings, sometimes we do stuff real good with technology, and sometimes we don't make the greatest of choices. I guess I'm just hoping that we've learned, from our, atomic past and other things, that maybe we didn't make the exact right choices, uh, and we make some better ones this time. I don't know that we're a year away from, our AI overlord, but I do think we've taken a step closer much faster than anybody predicted.
Well, awesome. This has all been very helpful and very insightful. I really appreciate your time.